Before we begin, please press the like button and the subscribe button. You know, we've all been there. A new project kicks off, and to make things easy, someone just says, hey, let's just use one login for everybody. It feels super convenient, right? A smart way to get things done faster. But what if that little shortcut is actually a ticking time bomb, just sitting right in the middle of your company's network? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the very real dangers that hide behind this super common workplace habit. Look, in the world we live in now, data breaches aren't really a question of if they'll happen, it's a question of when. And attackers, well, they're always, and I mean always, looking for the path of least resistance. A shared password, that's not just a weak link. Oh no, it's like leaving your company's front door wide open with a giant welcome sign on it. It takes a tiny, harmless seeming habit and turns it into a massive vulnerability that could seriously threaten your entire business. So, let's jump into the first big problem. It all boils down to one thing: absolutely zero accountability. When something inevitably goes wrong, the first question everyone asks is, okay, who did that? And with a shared password, that question is literally impossible to answer. This right here, this is the heart of the issue. A shared password creates this weird anonymous group identity. I mean, think about it. If 5 different people are all logged in as social media admin, then as far as the computer system is concerned, they're all the exact same person. There's no digital fingerprint, no way to trace a specific action back to a specific individual. And the fallout from that? It's a huge mess. Imagine a critical setting gets changed by accident, or some really important data just vanishes. Your IT team is basically flying blind. They can't just check the logs and see who did it. No, troubleshooting turns into this frustrating, time-sucking guessing game. Plus, it completely erodes any sense of personal responsibility. And maybe even worse, it encourages people to just hide their mistakes because, well, they know they probably won't get caught. All right, let's get to reason number 2. So we've talked about the chaos it causes inside the company, but what about the threats from the outside? This is where a shared password becomes a seriously dangerous weak link in your security chain. Just think for a second about how these passwords actually get shared. They're scribbled on a sticky note that's stuck to a monitor. They're fired off in a quick chat message, or, they're casually emailed to the new guy. They are almost never, ever handled with the kind of care they deserve, which just skyrockets the chance they're going to get exposed. And this is where things get really, really scary. The domino effect. It always starts small. One person writes the password down. Then their computer gets some kind of malware. And just like that, bam, the attacker doesn't just have one person's login. They have the keys to the entire kingdom. One tiny little slip-up can explode into a massive company-wide crisis. So that brings us to our third major headache: the absolute logistical nightmare of managing who has access when people come and go. I like to call it the revolving door problem. Okay, picture this. A team member puts in their 2 weeks notice. Great for them, but they had access to, let's say, 10 different accounts that all use shared passwords. Now, even if they're leaving on the best possible terms, you've got an immediate security risk. They still know all those passwords, and now the clock is ticking to get every single one of those accounts locked down. And that just kicks off this frantic, chaotic scramble. First, you've got to change the password on every single one of those shared accounts. Then, you have to find a secure way to get that new password to every single person who still needs it. And the whole time, you're just crossing your fingers hoping you didn't miss one. Did we forget that one social media account? Did Dave not get the update? Every little potential mistake is a security gap just waiting for someone to find it. Okay, so we've laid out all the problems, and yeah, it sounds pretty bad, right? But here's the good news. There is a much better, way smarter, and way safer way to handle all of this. It's time to move from those risky shortcuts to real, smart security. So really, this is the choice that every company has to make. On one side, you've got the chaos of shared passwords, no accountability, incredibly high risk, and just a constant headache to manage. And on the other side, you've got the modern, secure approach, clear ownership, way lower risk, and systems that are actually easy to manage. When you see it laid out side by side like this, the right path forward is kind of obvious, isn't it? So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, it's all about using the right tools for the job. First, the absolute foundation, individual logins. One person gets one unique password. That's it. Simple. Now, for any account that you absolutely have to share, use a professional password manager. It lets you give people access and take it away without ever actually telling them the password. And finally, the essential last piece of the puzzle, turn on multi-factor authentication, or MFA. It's like having a second deadbolt on your digital door. The big takeaway here is that you've got to be proactive. Yeah, setting up these systems takes a little bit of effort up front, I get it, but that little bit of effort is absolutely nothing compared to the cost, the time, and the reputation damage you'll deal with when you're cleaning up after a major data breach. Seriously, think of it as a smart investment in your company's future. So, I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. Is that little shortcut your team uses every single day really worth risking the security of the entire company? By finally moving away from shared passwords, you're not just fixing a bad habit. You're building a stronger, safer, and much more accountable place to work. If this explainer helped you think about your own team's security, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for watching.